President Trump obviously wants this to be moved out of the D.C. circuit because D.C. is the swamp. A jury pool in D.C. is going to be so biased against Trump. These are the swamp creatures that work in the administrative state, right? That's the residents of D.C. It's going to be so biased that it doesn't matter what the facts of the case are. He is going to be convicted. And the judge presiding over Trump is going to do everything to make that happen. This is the judge presiding over, let me bring this up on the screen. Give me 1 second. We're going to bring this up on the screen. Judge Tanya Chutkan. You see her picture there. She was appointed by Barack Obama, which doesn't necessarily mean that she's corrupt, but she is corrupt. The reason she's corrupt is we've talked about this often on the show, how everything that the special counsel is doing to President Trump right now, the fact that he's investigating him over January 6th, that he indicted him over free speech and accused him essentially of inciting a riot, an insurrection, of obstructing a government process based on his words. And his words, by the way, which didn't mean what the special counsel is accusing him of. Every single defendant from January 6th who has gone through the nightmare that they've experienced for the last year has been setting the precedent that the Department of Justice needs for how they're going to put Trump in prison. And Tanya Chutkan has been an integral part of this. So she presided over a dozen cases of January 6th defendants, and she is the only judge who sentenced, it was 11, not 12, sentenced these 11 defendants to more time in prison than the prosecution asked. So she increased the sentences from what the prosecution asked. And keep in mind, prosecutors usually ask for an amount of time in prison. It's like a negotiating table situation, right? They ask for more than they think they're going to get because the judge usually gives less. Well, Tanya Chutkan gave more than the prosecution asked for. More. There's not a chance in this world that she's going to do anything other than the bidding of what Joe Biden wants to be done. She will put President Trump in prison 100%. And you know who's a supporter of this whole process? This is kind of mind-blowing. Mike Pence. Mike Pence came out strongly against President Trump. Look at this tweet. We're going to bring this up on the screen. It says, today, he tweeted this 2 days ago when the indictment came down. He said, today's indictment serves as an important reminder. Anyone who puts himself over the Constitution should never be president of the United States. Like, what? 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 He might as well work. He might as well be a swamp creature. I don't understand who Mike Pence thinks is going to vote for him. Democrats hate him because he's a Christian, right? Because he's pro-life, because he doesn't think we should trans children. Democrats would never vote for him. They hated Mike Pence worse than they hated Donald Trump for a minute at the beginning of the 2016 campaign. Who does he think is going to vote for him? Like Jonah Goldberg? Is that who he thinks is going to vote for him? He's going to have a very, very small voting demographic here. He's also wrong. What President Trump did, you can disagree on President Trump's legal theory that he was trying to convince Mike Pence that he had the power to object to electors. You can agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. But the fact that Mike Pence is accusing Trump of subverting the Constitution, I've never heard anything from Mike Pence half as strong as this related to Russia collusion or the fake Ukraine impeachment or any of the allegations made against President Trump. None whatsoever. The most infuriating thing to me is when someone who's ostensibly on our own side becomes a traitor. Flips and switches and picks up the narrative of the other side. And that's exactly what Mike Pence is doing. What does he think that our country will look like if we allow the left to do this? Does he think someone like him would ever have a future? And I'm not even talking about a political future. Because under the rules that the left wants for our nation, his Christian beliefs, his right to free speech, his right to defend himself, his views on life in the womb and the protection of life in the womb, his views on marriage, his views on parental rights, even his own rights as a white man would all be under attack. What does he think a future with the left would look like? He is going to be woefully disappointed